They don't like me. I must have disappointed them. Why can't I keep my clients? Each time a client leaves, I feel a wave of emotions wash over me, striking deep within, as if I've been dealt a heavy blow. It seems as though I'm descending, and with every rejection, a knot forms in my stomach. The concern about damaging my reputation weighs heavily on me, and it leaves me feeling uncertain about myself. There are moments when I find myself overwhelmed by guilt, questioning whether I truly am good enough to what is expected of me. One day, a longtime client made the decision to leave for a larger company, and it felt like it nearly shattered me. Dear Leo, we have made the decision to transition our business to a larger company. I truly appreciate your assistance. Reading those words filled me with sadness. For years, I had nurtured this relationship with my client, ensuring that it was well cared for. Now they were gone, swept away by a larger force in the market. As I settled into my chair, my gaze lingered on the screen before me. Thoughts swirled in my mind, and the words began to fade into one another. What mistake did I make? Could it have been the delayed response from last month? Perhaps my terms simply aren't as good as the competitors? The questions continued to arise, each one presenting a greater challenge than the one before. A knot formed in my stomach, intertwining feelings of anger and shame. I felt a deep sense of disappointment in myself, knowing that I had let them down, and I couldn't shake the worry about how this would affect my reputation. News would spread, and other clients could follow suit. It seemed as though I was trudging through thick mud with each task I faced. As I returned home, the thoughts were still there, weighing on my mind and causing me unease. It was a night filled with reflections on what ifs and should haves. As I lay there, a gentle voice whispered, "Surely, there must be another way." I found myself unprepared to allow this to affect me. A few months later, another long-term client reached out. "Leo, we've received an inquiry from another company offering favorable terms. We are considering the possibility of making a change." My stomach tightened, yet I paused and held back. I paused and inhaled deeply, choosing not to cast blame upon myself. "I understand," I said softly. "I will explore options to see if I can match or exceed their offer." I chose not to let fear consume me after the call. I reminded myself that their decision didn't reflect my worth in any way. It was merely a matter of business. I concentrated on how I could make a difference, providing the best service I could offer. After reviewing their file, I identified opportunities to provide additional support and arranged a meeting to discuss it further. With a sense of assurance, I shared my revised proposal during the meeting. "I truly value our relationship and want to ensure you receive the best service possible," I expressed. They listened intently, and we shared a meaningful conversation. After much contemplation, they ultimately chose to remain. Changing my perspective felt like a heavy burden had been released from my shoulders. I experienced a sense of being more anchored and unburdened. In that moment, a fresh perspective unfolded before me. I found myself caught in a pattern of internalizing rejection, but I began to wonder, why is that? My thoughts were consumed by a deep concern for my clients' outcomes, intertwined with a worry about the impact on my reputation. I was deeply invested in their choices, feeling as though their decisions reflected on me in some way. The burden of expectation pressed heavily upon me, making each breath feel heavy as I strived to embody the ideal of a perfect service provider. Each lost client seemed to create a fissure in the very foundation I had worked so hard to establish. I would find myself lying awake at night, consumed by the fear that a single mistake could unravel all that I had dedicated myself to achieving. However, I came to understand that I cannot control everything. Clients may come and go, and at times, the circumstances are beyond my control. I've come to embrace a gentle understanding. We can only govern our own actions, while the choices of others remain beyond our reach. I can nurture the tree by providing it with water and attention. Yet when the wind howls, I find myself powerless to prevent the leaves from drifting away. That's simply the nature of life. Some individuals choose to remain, while others decide to leave. As I reflected on it, clarity began to emerge, and everything started to align in my mind. I felt a deep sense of fear, believing that their departure would signify my failure. What if it truly had no connection to me at all? What if it centered on their needs and the journey they were undertaking? Letting go of that attachment was a journey that unfolded over time. It felt as though I was gently unraveling a tightly knotted rope. I started to view every rejection as an opportunity for growth rather than a reflection of my value. It was at that moment that I came to understand a different perspective, one rooted in an abundance mindset. I began to view a client leaving not as a setback, but as an opportunity for growth and reflection. It was understandable if they needed something that I wasn't able to provide. There were others who might have appreciated what I had to share. I let go of the anxiety surrounding pleasing everyone and chose to concentrate on providing value to those who remained by my side. After a client leaves, I would seek feedback, not as a form of self-punishment, but as a means to grow and enhance my approach. It wasn't about demonstrating my worth. It was about evolving into a more resilient individual. This change brought to mind the reasons I embarked on this journey: to uphold what is right. It's not about controlling every outcome. It's about being present and putting forth our best effort. Their decision to leave didn't alter the situation. It merely highlighted their needs rather than my worth. It was as if I had discovered a firm foundation after a long period of uncertainty, as the reasons behind my actions came flooding back to me. When I face rejection now, I take a moment to pause and reflect on what just happened. I take a moment to embrace the feeling, allowing it to immerse me without resistance. Next, I take a moment to reflect and jot down one aspect of the relationship where I felt I succeeded, alongside one area where I see room for improvement, all on a piece of paper. It may seem simple, yet it provides me with a sense of stability. I choose not to place blame on others. Instead, I reflect on the situation with clarity and then release it from my mind. This change has truly made a significant difference in my life. There are days that remain challenging, and the sting of rejection can feel like a heavy blow to the heart. Yet, it no longer brings me down. I recognize it for what it truly is, merely a fleeting moment, not the entirety of my existence. It brings a sense of peace to realize that I am enough, even amidst the changes that are beyond my control. It flows onward, much like a river, shaping its journey through the landscape. At times, it takes a moment to pause, while at other moments, it bends in unexpected ways. I feel the same way.